I figured it would make a video of this really quick while I've got it apart. I was going to switch amplifiers because I was trying to check something out. Anyway, this is an hl2200, which is basically SB221 with some modifications. Um, in here, you'll see I have the direct grounded grid. I did that a long time ago. I pull all the crap off of here and just directly ground the grids. Somebody else drew on this and did a bunch of other stuff. I replaced that cap, and that was about it, really. But I heard something rattling in it, so I decided to take the cover off of it. What's nice about these is they come apart in two pieces. You have a top and a bottom, unlike SB220, where you have to like slide it out of the case. Anyway, this is a prime candidate to get 3D printed legs for because they're done. So I'm gonna have to go and see. They're like what they do, like Heathkit does. But let me see, where they double stack them. They put a rubber on top of the plastic, and that's fine. But the rubber is what's bad on these, and then the back is just rubber ones. So literally, this thing sits so close in the back just because they're so clapped out. And I had glued sliders on them. But anyway, I modified this, and I don't use 15 meters very often. So I put a 10 meter tank coil tap on it, and then pulled all the input crap out that they did. They went through extensive lengths to make sure nobody could use this on 11 meters, which means that nobody can use it on 10 meters. But anyway, so I kind of broadbanded it on 15, and so I was getting ready to hook it up because I was trying to use the amplifier on 10, and I could see I'm only getting 500 something watts, maybe even less, out on 10, and I thought, man, that's ridiculous. So basically, I need to probably get tubes for that amp then, and this one has brand new iMacs in it. So maybe just switch them. And, anyway. I don't really use an amplifier very often, but I got a good deal on this one, so I've just had it around. And I've kept it because they're pretty rare, and the tubes are almost brand new. This stupid thing has RF parts tubes in it. I'm assuming it came that way, because the manual says they would either come with iMacs or RF parts. Anyway, RF parts tubes are terrible. Don't let anybody lie to you and tell you they're great. I don't give a crap what kind of Taylor fake name they printed on them. They're still made in China. And the Chinese will never make tubes as good as the American iMacs. Period. You can argue all you want. You'll be wrong. So, anyway, this has iMacs in it. And the writing on them is bright red. So I got to open it up a little further because I found a washer and that fall out of there. It's probably somewhere in here. I've had this completely apart. This amplifier actually never worked because somebody assembled it incorrectly and the tank coil was loose. So the way these work, the more that you open them up, the more the metal gets stripped out. It has a shorting bar that just presses it down. So that way, when you get in here, it shorts that out, okay? So, as you can see here, these are about as new as you can get. But there's also a date on this amplifier. March 2nd, 1986, and this is going to be like one of the very, very, very last ones that they made. I didn't even know they were making them that late. So what I do is I go in and I paint them with black paint in the inside, because what they do is they actually reflect heat and radiation. And so you don't want that shiny aluminum in there. I have somewhat cleaned the tarnish off the tank coil. This is the 10 meter tap. This coil, way down in there, the bottom of this coil, had a cold solder joint in the bottom of that tank coil. And so basically, this thing never worked on anything that was below a certain band. And I don't know, it would work for a second and then arc out. But also some the ALC circuit down there went pop. So basically, this thing's a nightmare because everything is completely backwards. And so you have your 80 meter coil over here, your 40, and your 15. And they add another coil in here, which would be down underneath the 40. And that coil will be your anti-CB radio coil. Okay. It's a 11 meter, 10 meter trap. And with that, you'll never, ever be able to use it anything above 15. I had this particular 2-watt resistor go pop. You can see the burn mark on the board. I replaced it with this. We don't know why it happened. And then another thing too I do here is I come in and I put diodes across the meters. And you just put any old silicone diode, one facing one way, facing the other way, will protect the meter. And then here are our capacitors, which probably should get changed. I did them in my SB220. When I ordered them, they were about that long. In fact, I have some in the drawer over here. I'm going to show you that these come from Mauser. And you're going to pay $7 to get them shipped to you, but I can't remember how many you need. The hell are they? They've got to be in here. Damn it. Oh boy. Right here. This is how short they are. So this is what I replaced them with. The originals are like longer than a D battery. So 450 volt, 220 microfarad. And I don't remember how much these were a piece. I think I spent $30 or $40 to order all new capacitors for the SB220. This thing's probably okay for a while. My SB220 smelled like capacitors. You know, that kind of funky Bactine Band-Aid smell. But anyway, so those will sit in there like that. And they're really a pain in the butt to solder on here because the originals had this other type of setup. So you can buy a Harbach board that will come in here, and these will just mount into the board. And you can buy the Harbach kit. You can also buy the empty Harbach kit where you just get the board. It's probably going to be easier to just go order everything from Harbach. I chose not to do that originally, but I think this time around I'd probably just do that. So this is your big transformer. You can see it's extremely small. And then there's your filament transformer down there. And heathkit was absolutely genius in the way that they built these. They knew that the transformer would sag, so they didn't have to worry about inrush. So, and they ran less plate voltage and less filament so that the tubes will last forever. They would last longer than something like a Henry or Kenwood. So, this is a great amplifier. It just doesn't have 10 meters. Now, after what I've done to it, it'll work on 10 on 15, but it's not going to be any powerhouse. I don't know enough about fiddling with these coils to really optimize it. I just kind of gave it the old college try, and it works a little bit, but then I realized, well, yeah, there's no point in doing that. So, I'm going to put everything back together here in a minute, and I'm going to hook it up, and I'll go ahead and see if it does okay on the 10 meter band, and if it puts out more power. At least like the band just closed off like immediately. There's some couple of little signals right here. Yeah, isn't it weird? So the only reason I was trying to do anything was because I heard a Russian station on 10 meters. And I think he was using an American recording of his voice. Yeah, there's still stations on here. Holy hell. You just barely see them. Anyway, that led me down the rabbit hole. Now I got this thing apart because I heard something rattle in it when I went to go move it. So, I'm sure that it's something from the assembly of when I was bolting things together. And I ended up losing some bolts. And I ended up getting them out of another source. And it must have fell in between the crook of something. I went to go move it and it's loose now. So anyway, we're going to put this back together. And I'll go look online and see if there is a way to print some feet for this. Otherwise, I could print some spacers or something. Or see if I can fiddle with the 101 leg file and make them longer. So, anyway, this is the hl2200 SB221.